Hey guys, YouTuber Reddit here. Alright, and now down to the top 5 in this list for my next top 10 best hand-drawn animated Disney films. Continuing, now here I am with the review for what I have as number 5, which is Sleeping Beauty. And so, yeah, this film, gosh, it's really strange. Like, this is very, strange film, let me say. Not, I'm not really saying because the plot is strange, because it's just really unusual. Like, on one hand, there's like some stuff in this film that is really, really good and is really some of Disney's best of all time. While on the other hand, there's just like some stuff that really does not work and just really just is just not really some of Disney's strongest stuff. So so yeah, this film is just like it's just a mix all over the place. Like you have some like of Disney's best and like some of Disney's weaker stuff. So yeah, it's really just like inconsistent in this film. But yeah, it is. This film is still like a really good film overall. I mean, yeah, I really didn't watch this film too much growing up. Once again, just because yeah, I just felt that this film really wasn't my type because, I mean, of course, like, this is like another one of the Disney princess movies. And really, just growing up, like, the Disney princess movies really just weren't my type of movies, honestly, since I was a boy. But yeah, growing up now, I mean, these still are, like, really good movies. Like, the Disney princess movies still are really good. And as far as this one goes, I mean, uh, it is still, I guess, overall good. I mean, I don't think it is like really like told as well as like some other ones out there, especially like the ones I had in my first list. Like I had like the Cinderella, Little Mermaid, Snow White. So yeah, well, yeah, I really don't think this movie is told as good as those films are. But I guess it is still like it is told pretty well. I mean, the main characters of this film, like the Princess Aurora and the Prince Philip, kind of like not really that interesting at characters. And plus, yeah, I watched Natasha Critic's December review for this movie, and he made a point that I didn't even realize in this film. Like the very last line that the prince actually has in this film, it's just like around the middle where he just says goodbye to his father, and then like for the rest of the movie, he doesn't even say a single word anymore. So I found, yeah, I didn't even realize that when I just watched this movie. So yeah, that was kind of like bizarre, really, that the prince's last line is just like right in the middle, yet he still has a ton of time on screen in the movie. Oh yeah, and the Princess Aurora, um, I guess like she's not horrible or anything, but she really doesn't do like a whole lot to really get like people to really like her. I mean, like Ariel and the Little Mermaid, she like did a lot to get people to really like her, and Snow White, she was like really likable, and so was Cinderella. But I mean, Aurora, she really doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, I really do love like her singing voice, like the Once Upon a Dream song in this. I mean, her voice is just really amazing and to sing. Like, I just really did love the sound of her voice singing that song. I mean, she did sing like really well, so I like that about her. But I mean, everything else, I mean, it's just like she's walking around and looking pretty and stuff. So yeah, she really doesn't do a whole lot, so she's probably not really like one of the stronger Disney princesses, but I mean, she's not horrible, so yeah, I guess like it could have been worse with her. Like she could have like just done absolutely nothing in this film, film, and just like be completely boring. And while she's not like absolutely like does a lot to really like get people really interested in her, she still like does some stuff that really does get like some of things to get people to like her, particularly like the singing voice and stuff. So yeah, she's not really terrible or anything. But yeah, Maleficent in this film, like the villain, Maleficent, she is just excellent in this film. Like Maleficent, of course, is just like one of the greatest Disney villains of all time. I mean, she's probably like at like top five. I mean, she's just a great villain. I mean, yeah, she was very intimidating growing up. I mean, I guess she was another one of the reasons why I really didn't watch this film very much growing up. Because honestly, growing up, like I was kind of, Maleficent actually did kind of scare me. Like I did find her like very intimidating growing up, and even now, I mean, she still can be like really intimidating. Just like her magic powers and stuff. I mean, just yeah, she's just like a no nonsense evil woman and a villain really. And so yeah, while her motivation in this film really just is not is like pretty weak overall. I mean, just what she does just makes her like a great villain, and just her acts of revenge is just like makes her just a phenomenal character really. I mean, yeah, this was when Maleficent was actually done like really, really great, as opposed to what happened with her in the live action well, Maleficent movie a few years ago. How she was just like they made her into just like a PG goofball and stuff. Yeah, it's just a shame that Maleficent like was just turned to that in the live action movie. But yeah, here like watch this movie if you want to really see like a great interpretation of Maleficent. Like she's just done like phenomenally in this film, and the fairies in this film like they're pretty good in this film also. So yeah, I guess like the movie's strongest point is really like their side characters and the villain in the film, and of course like the climax at the end of the film is just like so great. I mean, it's one of like the best climaxes in Disney movie history. So yeah, and plus what like Maleficent is the dragon and stuff. Like that was like yeah, that was like I found that to be like kind of a really intimidating scene when I was younger. But yeah, looking at it now as an adult, I mean, it just is so great. So yeah, it's just really strange. Like you have like the main characters really are not written very interestingly, but yet you have like the side characters written pretty well. The villain is great, and the climax is great. So yeah, it's just like really all over the place, really. But yeah, I think because like it does have like some of the best stuff in the history of Disney movies, I really do think that that makes it deserve to really be on this list. Yeah, so yeah, while it like does have some of the weaker things in Disney movie history, I mean, just what works, it really works, and what's great is really, really great. So yeah, I do think it is an overall good movie. Yeah, I give it 3.5 stars out of 4. So yeah, it just is like yeah, not really like one of my personal favorites, really, but yeah, yeah, I really do think that it does deserve to be on this list since it does have like some of the greatest stuff in Disney history. Okay. So yeah, okay, so yeah, let me just get right into the story. So the story is kind of like told in a similar way that like stories that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Cinderella are kind of told. Yeah, and in this film, it's shown that King Stefan and Queen Leah like go many years without a child, but then they finally have birth of a daughter, the Princess Aurora, and yeah, they then like have an event, like a party pretty much, which for like their people to really pay homage to their princesses in a gathering for christening, and then like it's shown she is like betrothed to Prince Philip, who's the son of King Hubert, who's a friend of Stefan. And yeah, they will always be united in their kingdoms. And then it shows that Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, who are the three fairies, they like are at the party as well, giving gifts to Aurora. Yeah, and then yeah, during as they were giving their lessons, then Maleficent, who's like an evil fairy, ended up appearing. And yeah, it was revealed that Maleficent wasn't actually invited to the party. And so then, yeah, that's when Maleficent just became like pretty much hated um, the princess. And so yeah, and also like Maleficent in this film, she's voiced by the same actress who actually voiced the stepmother in Cinderella. So yeah, this actress is Eleanor Audley. Yeah, she has like voiced like two of the most famous villains in animated Disney movies. So yeah, and so then as Maleficent then like was leaving, and like she was asked by the Queen if she was offended, and then the Maleficent then just like proclaimed that once Aurora will turn 16 on her 16th birthday, as she will grow in grace and beauty, before the sun sets, she will actually like touch the spindle of a spinning heel, and then she'll then die after she touches it. And then the king and queen were then just horrified by that thought, and so then they like just were begging the fairies to really break the curse. But unfortunately, they actually were not strong enough to break it. But then, they Merryweather then ended up like softening the curse with her blessing, and so rather than actually dying, Aurora will just like fall into a deep sleep, if, which in order to break that, she'll only be awakened by a true love's first kiss. And so, but the king was still like fearing her for her daughter's life, and so he then ordered like all the spinning wheels in the kingdom to really be burned. And but the fairies still felt that that still wouldn't be enough to really keep Aurora safe, and so they basically like ended up just taking her in to like like pretty much take care of her themselves in like a woodcutter's cottage in the forest until the day of her 16th birthday. And so then, as Aurora, years later, as Aurora was approaching 16, she was now like renamed by the fairies a Briar Rose. Rose. Then like she was just then sent by the fairies to gather berries in the forest so they could prepare her surprise party. And as she was like walking off in the forest picking berries, she like ended up like befriending the animals of the forest, and it turned out that Prince Philip, who was now like grown up as well, he was nearby as well, and so then uh, Rose or Aurora, whatever you want to call her, she was then like with the animals, and then like the animals then like were just like pretending to be like her dream prince, and then she was then singing the Once Upon a Dream song, and then she ended up also attracting the attention of Prince Philip. And then they ended up like meeting each other in the forest, and then at first like Rose was like kind of like stunned at his appearance, and says because like she wasn't really allowed to really talk to strangers, but Philip then just basically like told her that they had met before as once upon a dream, as she had said, and then they ended up like falling in love, but of course like they didn't recognize each other, and so they really didn't really know that they were actually promised in marriage on the day of Aurora's birth. And so then Rose had to go, but she asked Philip to really come to the cottage later that night to meet her family. And and eventually like Rose had arrived back home, and she told the fairies that she and she didn't actually know that they were fairies, of course. Uh, she told them that she had met a man to fall in love with, and of course, like the fairies didn't really know she was talking about Prince Philip, and they really told her who she really was and about her heritage, and she was a princess, as in promised to another man, and she was told that she must never see the man that she met ever again, and of course, like Aurora just was like heartbroken by that, and she ended up leaving, and also meanwhile, like back in the with the royal people, Philip also ended up like telling his father of the girl he met and wishes to marry her. Or then of course like Philip's father, Hubert, didn't know that he was talking about Aurora either, and Hubert was just like convincing him like to go otherwise, and yeah, Hubert just was like really like equally disappointed. Yeah, but yeah, and then yeah, Philip basically just like said that he wouldn't listen or something, and yeah, he then just like rode off, and yeah, this was the last line that he had in the movie, and yeah, it wasn't even close to being done yet. So yeah, kind of strange that the the prince in the movie like he doesn't have any more dialogue after like the middle of the movie. So yeah, kind of strange. I mean, I don't know if like there was some sort of like conflict or something with the voice actor and stuff, and like he just wasn't able to continue on like providing any more audio dialogue or something. So I really don't know what that's about, but yeah. But then that night, like, and Aurora was taken back to the castle, and yeah, she was like left alone to wait for her celebrations to see her parents. But then yeah, Maleficent like ended up appearing, and like she ended up like with her magic, she lured Aurora away from like the fairies, and basically like went like through a wall really. Yeah, and yeah, the other fairies like as they were coming together, they like saw what realized what she was like put up to, and so then they tried to follow her to stop her from touching the spindle of the wheel. But Aurora did end up touching the spindle and ended up pricking her finger, and then yeah, that ended up like totally completing the curse, and Aurora just ended up like passing out and collapsing. Yeah, and then yeah, the fairies then just ended up like placing Aurora on the bed in the highest tower, and then yeah, they then like put a spell on like all the other people in the kingdom, which like made them fall asleep too until the spell on Aurora had been broken. And they also like ended up like overhearing Stefan and Hubert talking, and then like they realized that Prince Philip was actually the man that Aurora had fallen in love with, and so yeah, and then yeah, Hubert, I mean not Hubert, Philip ended up like being kidnapped after he like came into the cottage in the at her cottage, and yeah, Maleficent was there, and she ended up like kidnapping Philip. And then yeah, she ended up like showing Philip the girl Aurora is now the is now just sleeping, and of course like she did believe Maleficent. Yeah, she's of course like just told uh Philip what had actually happened to her, and that she did plan to keep him locked away until he's really on the verge of death, then release him to meet his love, who wouldn't have aged at all. And so, yeah, but then eventually, like, the fairies ended up finding Philip and ended up releasing him, and then they ended up arming him as well with the magical sword of truth and the shield of virtue, and so then, yeah, he ended up racing back to the tower to br- break the curse on Aurora. And so, yeah, and of course, like, as he went with his horse, Maleficent was, like, trying to stop Philip. And, yeah, she, like, ended up, casting a, well, they'll, like, surround the castle with thorns, but, yeah, Philip was able to, like, just make his way through the thorns, and then, yeah, she was just, like, trying to do a bunch of stuff to stop Philip from reaching the castle. She, like broke like made some broke like some parts of the um roads and stuff, or the paths and stuff, to try to make it so he couldn't actually get to the other side of the pathways that had been that were broken. But yeah, he ended up like making his way over, and then eventually then Maleficent then just transformed into a giant dragon to try to stop Philip. But yeah, and then eventually Philip ended up like throwing the sword right into Maleficent's heart, and then yeah, she ended up being destroyed and fell right to her death. And eventually, yeah, Philip then had arrived at the castle, and then, yeah, he then kissed Aurora and broke the spell, and as a result of that, the spell on the other people in the kingdom had then broken as well. And eventually, yeah, they then just ended up like having dancing in the ballroom, and yeah, Jill then Aurora was reunited with her real parents, and then yeah, it then just like showed that Aurora and Philip had now fallen in love with each other, and yeah, it showed how uh Hubert really didn't understand how the two of them had met, but then yeah, Laura and Mayweather also were like arguing because yeah, they earlier on like they were trying to like they were arguing over the color of Aurora's dress, like one wanted it blue and one wanted it pink and stuff, and so oh yeah, as they were dancing, like they were changing it from blue to pink constantly, and yeah, and then just showed uh Aurora and Philip like continuing to dance as the dress was continuing to change, and yeah, it just had the Once Upon a Dream song like playing it out as they then lived happily ever after. So yeah, that's how it ended. So yeah, it's kind of like a mixed bag film. I mean, yeah, a lot, some quite a bit of stuff in here doesn't work because yeah, the main characters really are not very interesting. But yeah, like I said, it does have some of like the best stuff, some of the best stuff in Disney history with like Maleficent and the climax and just yeah, it does have like some of the great stuff like that. So yeah, because of that, I think like it really does deserve to really be part of this list, as I said earlier. So 3.5 stars out of 4, like I said. So yeah, it definitely is worth a viewing. I mean, don't really be expecting like a true actual masterpiece because with the main characters, like you're really not going to get very much interest. But yeah, with the villain and the side characters and the climax, like if you can like if you're patient enough to wait to get to that stuff, like you will definitely like get enjoyment out of those elements of it. So yeah, some parts are really great, some of the greatest works in Disney history, as I said, but yeah, it's not all throughout the entire film. So yeah, basically just yeah, just like don't be expecting everything to work, but yeah, the stuff that does work and is really great, you really will get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Alright, so yeah, that does my review of Sleeping Beauty, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review, so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.